And like Mickey Mouse running the Sorcerer's Apprentice, they really know that they're going to lose control. But they want to lose control just in the way that they want to lose control. If they lost control in the way that we could manifest, then this wouldn't happen. But the way that they have guided us into this dark hero programming, into the ideas of we have to go attack our enemy, that we have to stand strong and try to, well, protest against this situation. That's our ego coming forward, because they've conditioned us to the idea that we have to confront the enemy face to face. And yet the enemy's here, the enemy's there, the enemy's vapor. He's nothing. He's what? The Illuminati? Whoosh. You know, what is that, right? Who are you fighting? Who knows? I mean, we of course got the bloodlines. We've got the groups that we can point out. We've got, I mean, you guys know about the CFR, the Trilateral Commission, the CIA, the NSA, CERN. You know, these are things that 98% of the planet have never heard of. You know, it's like common talk to us. We're like, what, Council on Foreign Relations? Sure, they're ruling this planet without a doubt. IMF, WTO, yeah, I know all about that. No, I don't want a World Bank. And so what do? We go and stand in front of these guys, and we start going, I don't like this. These are my streets. Whose streets? Our streets. Whose streets? Right? What? And this is what democracy looks like? You know? I've been there. I stood in front of these guys. I've yelled at them, you know? It doesn't do any good. I watched as they took 600 people. Now, there were a bunch of people that actually officially signed up for this IMF WTO protest. And I don't know if you guys remember Seattle when there was the absolute riots over the IMF WTO, and that was all a facade. That was all a show. It was all, you know, set up. So when they came to DC with the protest, I went, and luckily I was just a few feet in front of these guys, because the riot squads just lined up and took 600 people away. Now, I was standing there yelling at them, screaming at them, like, what are you doing? This is, you know, not constitutional. And they gathered all these people together. They threw them on city buses. When they ran out of city bus, or the school buses, they put them on city buses, and they hauled them all away to this horrible, like, hangar with all these fumes. We're talking pregnant women, 10-year-old boys, Japanese tourists, anyone that happened to be walking down the street at that very moment. And they charged them all $50 a head. They charged them with parading without a permit. It took them hours, 14 hours. They were there all night long to process every one of them one at a time, $50 a head, cha-ching, 30 bucks, 30 grand, thank you very much. Now those were the people that actually filed the petition to say, I want to do this protest. The rest of us were okay. But, yeah, so who's listening when you're going out there and yelling at these guys? I mean, the only time I ever got a reaction out of a riot squad is when I started calling widows' sons, which is a code word for Freemason. That got their attention. I did not expect that. But yeah, they knew that one. But the rest of it, they're trained to think that you're just animals. And on top of this, they're now conditioning us through all of this police violence and through the ideas that, you know, cops are killing everybody. They're pumping that into you. They want you to know that. They want you to be angry about that. And so that you will react in an improper way. They want to affect your consciousness so that you will attack the enemy, and then they're giving you this as your enemy. I mean, what good does it do? Nothing. Nothing. There's no use to it. After the protest, there were 500,000 people there to say, I'm against the IMF WTO. I don't want this World Bank or International Monetary Fund or any of it. World Trade Organization. 500,000 people gathered together in the streets of DC, shut the whole city down. And yet, who knows? Who knows of it, right? No one. There was news, and every news picture in every newspaper was the one single shot that was showing violence in the protest. Now, I was there the entire time. There was no violence. It was a party, you know? And that's really what these become, and that's what these becomes, is the, you know, a gathering, a reunion, finally, other humans, right? I get to go talk to someone I know. So that's what a protest is good for. You know, gathering together. But if you're trying to affect change, forget it. It's worthless. So have no fear. You are here. You're here. There's nothing you can do about it. Accept it, right? Because, you know, as Yoda says, Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, and hate leads to suffering. And this is the truth. And we are acting so much out of fear because they are forcing us to. They are putting it in our face left and right. And it's, it's a chore, or really a dedication to find happiness. It's actually a choice. You can choose to be happy, even in the midst of all this. You can choose to be angry, but angry is going to lead to exactly what they want. Jesus, again, says, take therefore no thought for the morrow shall take thought for things of itself. So there it is right again, right in the beginning, in the biblical times of saying that God's taking care of things. And if you're in your now and you're manifesting what you need at that moment, then that's enough. It's not that you have to go out and try to make a massive change. And that's where a lot of people get stuck, because they think, well, what can I do? And you're doing it. I'm letting you know that. You're all doing it by learning, by changing your consciousness. You don't even know you're doing it. Isn't that the easiest way? And then, of course, Einstein tells us that the most important decision is whether we believe we live in a friendly or a hostile universe. We do live in a friendly, I don't know, I live in a friendly universe. I have traveled this country and a number of other countries now, and I have just wandered around being taken care of by wonderful people like you. I mean, consider right now, any of you that I've personally hung out with, have touched in my life, and we've all hung out. Do any of you want to raise your hand or stand up? All right. Now these are people, look around. These are people whose couches I've slept on, all right? Now, I'm just one guy. If I were to say, how many of you have I changed your consciousness? How many have I helped to guide you into this new way of thinking? Now look around. Okay, I'm just one guy, right? So all of you are doing that. You are. You've just not been asked to get up on stage by some alien like I was. I don't know why. I don't know if you know that story, but FREEMAN
We're
TV.
mature enough now to be playful.
You see? You got to be able to get to that point where you feel secure in your placement and your playfulness. So the biggest question that we can ask for the next, until things change, is what can I do to help? You ask that question of all the people that you come across. You ask that question of the people that you just met or that you ran into, and it's going to guide you to a new paradigm that's cosmic. It's going to guide you to a place where people are there to lift you into your next paradigm and help you go forward to whatever it is that your soul's potential is there waiting. So it's up to you to give. You give the gift of receiving. That's one way. So you can't be ashamed of receiving. That's another trick they've used against us. You can't believe you don't deserve it, and you should know that it's okay to want it. And so when you ask the others around you, what can I do to help? This opens doors to all kinds of things when they're going to be wanting to ask you, what can I do to help you? And we are all the angelic forces. We are the messengers of God. Every miracle that has ever existed or happened to me in my entire life has been from one of you. Nowhere else. Not some manifested, crazy hand of God coming down. No, it was a beloved, loving, nurturing, kind, caring human that wanted to help me and share in my experience. So I want to thank you all for sharing in my experience and for being who you are, because you are changing the cosmos right now.